The name Titanic is known across the globe, a symbol of ambition, luxury, and tragedy. Even today, more than 100 years after its fateful voyage, the Titanic continues to fascinate people of all ages and backgrounds. Its story is not just about a ship, but about the dreams and hopes of an era that believed anything was possible. For over a century, its story has captured imaginations, becoming a modern myth and a stark reminder of nature's power. The Titanic's legacy lives on in books, films, and memorials, reminding us of both human achievement and vulnerability. Its sinking was a turning point in maritime history, leading to new safety regulations and changing the way people viewed technology and progress. But beyond the legend, what was the Titanic truly like? What did it mean to live and work aboard this floating city? Imagine the excitement of stepping onto the world's largest and most luxurious ship, surrounded by the latest technology and the finest comforts of the early 20th century. For passengers and crew alike, the Titanic was a world unto itself, filled with promise and possibility. Thanks to technology and historical research, we can now explore the ship as it was in April 1912. Modern digital tools allow us to reconstruct every detail, from the grand staircase to the engine rooms, giving us a window into the past that was once unimaginable. Using digital reconstructions, we'll walk its grand halls, see its machinery, and experience the world of its passengers and crew. We can witness the elegance of first-class dining, the hard work of the crew below deck, and the daily lives of those who called the Titanic home, if only for a short time. The Titanic was the largest moving object of its time, a marvel of engineering and society, luxury suites, cramped quarters, bustling kitchens, and powerful engines all under one roof. It brought together people from all walks of life, from wealthy elites to hopeful immigrants, each with their own story to tell. Let's step aboard and begin our journey through this extraordinary vessel. Together, we'll uncover the stories, the innovations, and the human experiences that made the Titanic unforgettable, a legend that continues to inspire and move us to this day. Seeing the Titanic for the first time was awe-inspiring, a mountain of black steel and gleaming brass. Its hull stretched nearly 900 feet, crowned by 4 towering smokestacks in white Star Line colors. Thousands of portholes dotted the hull, each a window into a private world. The decks rose in elegant tiers, culminating in the open boat deck. Every detail projected safety, size, and confidence: the sharp bow, massive rudder, and grand gold lettering. The ship seemed unsinkable, a triumph of human ingenuity. This magnificent exterior promised a world of order and luxury within. Now let's ascend the gangway and explore the Titanic from the top down. The boat deck was the Titanic's highest point, open to the elements, exposed to the wind and sea air, and offering sweeping views of the Atlantic horizon. It was a place where the vastness of the ocean could be felt most profoundly, and where the ship's grandeur was on full display. This deck was not just a scenic vantage point, but also the heart of command and control for the entire vessel. At the very front stood the bridge, a nerve center where officers steered the ship, navigated through icy waters, and sent engine orders below using telegraphs. Every decision made here shaped the Titanic's journey. Just behind the bridge, the Marconi wireless room buzzed with activity. Here, operators sent and received messages, connecting Titanic to the outside world, relaying news, personal telegrams, and in times of crisis, urgent distress calls that would echo across the Atlantic. Along the deck, 20 lifeboats were carefully arranged, far fewer than the ship could actually carry. This controversial decision, made to preserve the ship's elegant appearance and maximize deck space, prioritized aesthetics over passenger safety. This compromise would prove disastrous, leaving hundreds without a place in the event of an emergency. Yet the boat deck was also a place of leisure and luxury, especially for first-class passengers. Wide promenades, comfortable benches, and deck chairs invited guests to stroll, relax, and socialize while enjoying the fresh sea breeze. Officers' quarters were located nearby, ensuring that those responsible for the ship's safety could respond quickly to any situation, day or night. Here, command, communication, and comfort coexisted in a delicate balance. alongside a fatal flaw in lifeboat provision that would haunt the ship's legacy. The boat deck was the ship's brain, a place of authority and innovation, but also a symbol of misplaced confidence in technology and design. From this very spot, the fate of the Titanic would ultimately be decided, as officers faced the unimaginable on that fateful night. Now let's descend from the open air of the boat deck into the world of first-class luxury, where opulence and comfort awaited Titanic's most privileged guests. Descending from the boat deck, we enter first class, a realm of unmatched luxury. The grand staircase, with its oak, ironwork, and glass dome, was the ship's centerpiece and social hub. Lavish public rooms included the Versailles-inspired lounge, a tranquil reading room, and a mahogany smoking room. Amenities like a gym, pool, and Turkish baths set new standards for ocean travel. The finest suites were multi-room apartments with private promenades, while even standard cabins offered rare comforts. Stewards provided attentive service, and the dining saloon served elaborate meals in a bright, elegant setting. For the wealthy, Titanic was not just transport. It was a floating extension of their privileged world. But life aboard was very different for those in second and third class. Second class on Titanic rivaled first class on other ships. Comfortable cabins, a library, smoking room, and outdoor promenade. The dining saloon offered excellent food in a relaxed, communal atmosphere. Middle-class travelers enjoyed a level of service and comfort previously out of reach. Third class, or steerage, was basic but clean. Private cabins instead of dormitories, simple meals, and electric lights. Most third-class passengers were immigrants, filled with hope for a new life in America. They formed a vibrant community, gathering in the general room to socialize, play music, and dance. For many, Titanic was their first taste of modern comfort. The ship was a microcosm of society, luxury, aspiration, and hope, all under one roof. Below decks, another world kept everything running: the crew and the engine rooms. Hidden from view, the crew's world was a hive of activity, 900 people living and working in cramped, functional quarters. Stewards, cooks, and cleaners moved through private corridors, making luxury possible for passengers. Deep below, the boiler rooms roared with heat and noise. 29 boilers and 159 furnaces demanded constant feeding by teams of stokers and trimmers. Their work was brutal, shoveling coal in sweltering conditions, powering the entire ship. The firemen lived near their furnaces, their lives dictated by relentless shifts. Unseen and uncelebrated, their labor was the heartbeat of the Titanic. Above them, the engines transformed this raw power into motion and electricity. 9. The engine room was the Titanic's heart, a cavern of noise, heat, and moving steel. Deep below the decks, dozens of engineers and stokers worked tirelessly, shoveling coal into enormous furnaces to keep the engines running day and night. The constant thrum of pistons and gears echoed through the ship, a reminder of the immense power required to move such a colossal vessel across the Atlantic. Two massive reciprocating engines powered the outer propellers, while a cutting-edge steam turbine drove the central one. This combination was a marvel of engineering, blending tried-and-true technology with the latest innovations of the era. This blend of old and new technology made Titanic not only powerful and efficient, but also a symbol of progress. The ship could reach speeds of over 20 knots, making her one of the fastest and most advanced liners of her time. The enormous bronze propellers, each weighing over 30 tons, pushed the ship forward with incredible force, slicing through the water as the engines roared. But Titanic was more than just an ocean liner, it was a floating power plant. 4 massive dynamos generated electricity, producing more power than many small cities of the time. This allowed the ship to offer comforts and conveniences unheard of on earlier vessels. Over 10,000 light bulbs illuminated every corner, from the opulent grand staircase and luxurious first-class suites to the bustling kitchens and humble crew corridors. At night, the ship glowed like a floating city on the dark ocean. Electricity powered not just the lights, but also elevators, ventilation fans, kitchen equipment, heaters, and the vital Marconi wireless system, which kept Titanic in touch with the outside world. The ship's electrical system was a marvel of its age, a true symbol of modernity, luxury, and ambition, setting new standards for ocean travel. Yet, for all its technological wonders, even the most advanced machinery could not save Titanic from disaster when she struck the iceberg. The very heart of the ship, the engine room, became one of the first areas to flood. Its safety systems, though impressive for their time, had a fatal flaw. The watertight compartments could not withstand the scale of the damage, and the ship's fate was sealed. Titanic's hull was divided into 16 watertight compartments, designed to keep the ship afloat even if 4 flooded. Watertight doors could be closed by hand or from the bridge, sealing off sections in an emergency. This system inspired confidence in the myth of unsinkability, but the bulkheads didn't reach high enough. Water could spill over if too many compartments flooded. When the iceberg struck, 6 compartments were breached, 2 more than the design allowed. As the bow sank, water overflowed from one compartment to the next, sealing the ship's fate. The very feature meant to save Titanic became its undoing. The lesson: even the best engineering can be undone by unforeseen flaws. 9. For 73 years, Titanic lay lost in the Atlantic depths. In 1985, Dr. Robert Ballard's team found the wreck, 2 miles down, broken in 2, surrounded by a debris field. The bow remains recognizable, a ghostly shadow buried in mud. The stern is a twisted ruin. Remotely operated vehicles have explored the wreck, revealing haunting scenes, rusted chandeliers, bed frames, and porcelain basins. The ship is slowly dissolving, reclaimed by the sea. Titanic stands as both a marvel of engineering and a cautionary tale. It reflects the heights of ambition and the dangers of hubris. Its story is a window into the past and a reminder of our own limits. By looking inside this lost legend, we learn not just about history, but about ourselves. 10.